Danny, 13 points from 7 games and there's 5 left to go. How do you see the running going?
I think it's exciting. I think it's all to play for. 5 really big games for the football club. We're disappointed with our points tally from the last 3. I think you look at all 3 games and probably you could argue that it's fine margins in all games, and if in all 3 games I think we've got opportunities to win them, but probably the fact that we're talking about fine margins is probably the issue, because we want to get to a place for this football club where we're not talking about fine margins in League One, we're talking about big margins, and we're on the right side of those big margins. So that is definitely what we're trying to work towards. I think we've taken a lot of learning from the 3 games. We've had a good day today in preparation from Swindon. Spoke a lot around just our values and what we stand for as a group. And I thought we made big strides today in terms of our mentality and our mindset, which are 2 really important aspects if you want consistent performance. And we go into a Swindon game tomorrow with real anticipation and a lot of excitement.
Having had a day to reflect on the NK Dons game, what have you learnt from that?
I think we learn from every game. I think we were pleased with aspects. We were certainly pleased with some of our counter-attack play. I think we created many chances, particularly in the first half on the counter-attack. Needed to be a bit more ruthless and clinical with our final action. I think we needed to improve in certain aspects. Sometimes when the counter-attack moment goes and maybe their defence gets back, then we've just got to be a little bit more patient and not force the play and just stay in their half. Also got to squeeze up behind it. At times in the game got really open and kind of a basketball game where it's going end to end, and they kept countering our counter, and that's because we didn't quite squeeze the back of our pitch behind the front boys. So that's definitely something to work on. I think we've still got aspects in our positional attack to work on to get more control in games, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of areas for us to keep working towards. But like we always say, I think the great thing for us is that we're developing by the day. We're learning about each other. And we're learning about the relationships and the partnerships, and when the problems do arise in games, these are good problems for us to find the solutions for. And I think the more challenges we have in that respect, the more solutions we find, and as a consequence we keep fast tracking our development, and that's what we're trying to do. You know, we're a new group that has come together. We're playing in a different way than what the players have played maybe in before. And when you do have a game idea, you know, it takes time to develop and to master, and we're in that process now, but we're enjoying it. We feel really positive about what is to come. 5 huge games. I think you've already alluded to maybe 13 points in the first 7. If we can find the right performance, then we'll get the right result tomorrow, and then we'll be on 2 points a game, which, you know, over a whole season is something that we always look to strive for.
Moving forward to tomorrow, when we face a struggling Swindon side, do you think it's important to focus on yourselves rather than worry about the opposition?
Well, I think we have to put all of our energy into ourselves. I think it'd be very difficult to predict exactly what Swindon are going to do. They've played many formations in the last 10 games. I think we've seen them in the 3-5-2, the 3-4-3, the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1, and also on Saturday the 4-4-2. They've obviously had a change of manager since, so we could waste a lot of time trying to predict what they're going to do, or we could put all of our energies into ourselves, and that's what we've done today. You know, we've worked on a couple of technical and tactical aspects from the game on Saturday, and we've worked really hard on our values and what we stand for as a group and our mentality and mindset. And I actually think some of the work we've done today has been really powerful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a really good response tomorrow.
Ben Close was pulled out of Saturday's game because of a groin injury. Have you got any updates on how he's doing?
Yeah, he had a scan this morning, so we're just waiting for the outcome of the scan. It's certainly improved over the weekend, and he can't feel it now in everyday life. But before we get to the next step, now the inflammation has settled, we just need to see the severity of the injury. sometimes you can get these sort of real delayed onset muscle soreness, which can actually happen through an accumulation of games, which probably Ben hasn't been used to this season, so his body isn't conditioned for that. So we're hoping that it's that rather than maybe a grade 1 tear, which obviously would then lead to a couple of weeks on the sideline. But we have to wait for the results and once we know that, we'll be able to plan for what is next.
You spoke about the front four last week, and it was another frustrating one for them at the weekend. What work has gone in to support them ahead of tomorrow's game?
Well, I think the positives are that we're creating chances. We created a huge number of chances in the game against MK Dons, enough chances to win any football match. We didn't quite execute the final action, or sometimes the action before the final action, and that definitely areas that we can work on. We can also work on our positional attack once we get into the opposing half, of just being a little bit more patient. Maybe when we have Michael Jacobs, he makes the extra pass, and that sometimes extra pass can create the space to create a good chance. Sometimes we've just been a little bit too forceful with our attacking play and rushed some of our decision making and executions, and we just need to be a little bit calmer in the moment and sometimes, build up to creating a chance, and sometimes you work it on the right and you don't get the chance, you have to swing it around and then work it on the left to try to create the space and the overloads to beat your opponent. And these are all things that we're working on every day in training, and we're confident with the players that we have. And you've got to remember, huge challenge this for us. We've got lots gone against us with injuries and suspensions. There's many excuses we could make, but we know that excuses are for the weak, and ultimately nobody cares. So what we'd rather do is see the challenge. It's getting bigger by the day. It's getting tougher by the day. We have 4 attacking players really at our disposal, so we can't give them a second rest, let alone a minute. But we're enjoying that. That to me is the bigger the challenge, the more exciting it gets. And we're working really hard with the boys to get the necessary work into them, and also the necessary recovery, so that we can refuel. And they're really hungry, and they're really determined to keep working hard and keep trying to improve on the performance. And we know that with that front four, we will always carry goal for it.
Many thanks, Danny.
Pleasure.